Are you the boss, Mom? Yeah.
She is. She loves this camera stuff.
She loves it. That's why I brought her on. It's because I knew if I was like so stunned I couldn't speak that she would talk for me.
Before Miley Cyrus would drop the music video to her latest single, Mother's Daughter, clocking in over 6 million views in less than 24 hours. Before Miley Cyrus would live a double life, shocking the world, myself included, when she revealed that she is in fact Hannah Montana. Before Miley Cyrus would change her name to Miley Hemsworth after marrying actor Liam Hemsworth.
She'll still be obviously known as Miley Cyrus, but she took my name, which was great. I think that was honestly one of the best things about it. I didn't ask her to take my name, and then she's like, no, of course I'm taking your name. I'm like, that's awesome.
Before Cyrus would have over 95 million Instagram followers, 12 million YouTube subscribers, and 43 million Twitter followers. Miley Cyrus has been living in the spotlight from a very young age. After emerging from the shadows of her successful father's music career, Cyrus would take the world by storm when she landed her role as Hannah Montana. Eventually, Miley would grow up and break out of the Disney mold that saw her ride her way to the top for 5 years and turn into the edgy, fun, young woman she is today. With smash hits like Party in the USA, Wrecking Ball, and The Climb, to name a few, Cyrus, or Hemsworth as she goes by now, has and continues to be a chart-topping musician, and I feel like the 26-year-old's best years are still ahead of her. And just to clarify, although her last name is Hemsworth now, I'm still referring to her as Miley Cyrus because that's who she is. It's just Miley Cyrus. And it'll also be a lot less confusing for us all. What's going on, guys? My name is Jared Bronstein. Welcome back to Before They Were Famous. In our last video, we talked about Chris Smoove, which you guys kept requesting in the comments down below. We actually read them, I promise. We also just did Bad Baby and A Rich Life on Rihanna. Be sure to check those out after this video, and as always, keep sending in your requests in the comments down below. Today's trivia question is, what theater show inspired Miley to want to be an actor? You guys gotta let me know in the comments down below. As always, I'll be answering that at some point throughout this video, and at the end as well, just to clarify in case you guys missed it, and I'll see you guys after the intro. Hey, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Boom! Miley Ray Cyrus Hemsworth, wow, what a name, was born Destiny Hope Cyrus on November 23rd, 1992 in Franklin, Tennessee. She's the daughter of Achy Break Heart singer and Old Town Road remix singer Billy Ray Cyrus, and Letitia Jean Finley, also known as Tish, who was an actress and producer as well as Miley's former manager. Miley spent the early years of her life growing up on a farm in Franklin, Tennessee, with her brother Brazen and sister Noah and half-siblings Brandy and Trace, who Billy Ray adopted shortly after Tish and Billy got married. Although Miley also has another older half-brother, Christopher Cody, he grew up with his mother, who Billy dated before wedding Tish, and to this day Cody doesn't have much to do with the Cyrus family. Miley clearly had roots of an entertainer from the get-go. Even as a young child, she stole the spotlight on camera, as you can see right here.
Which camera?
Do
Right
your
over
eyes,
here, Miley.
Miley.
Right here. Do your eyes.
Do your eyes, Miley. Do your eyes.
From a young age, Miley was always smiling, so her family would call her Smiley. This is where she'd get her name Miley from, and eventually she would change her name legally to Miley, but we gotta go in chronological order here. So back to her youth. Miley attended Heritage Elementary School in Tennessee until she was 8 years old. Her father, Billy Ray, would land a role on the TV series Doc in 2001, prompting the entire family to move to Toronto, Canada. Hey, shout out Toronto. Miley would eventually land a small role in the same show as her father and would be cast in the Tim Burton film Big Fish before eventually starring as Hannah Montana in the hit Disney show in 2006. But before she'd be so inclined to have a career as an actor, she'd be sitting with her dad in a 2001 production of Mamma Mia. After hearing Dancing Queen, she knew she wanted to be a performer. Okay, I made up the Dancing Queen part, but her father told the Toronto Star moments into the first act, Miley grabbed his arm and said, I quote, "This is what I want to do, Daddy. I want to be an actress."
I'm Miley Cyrus, I'm with CED, and I'm auditioning for the role of Zoe in Hannah Montana. My, how could I let you go? Mamma Mia, here I go again. My, how can I resist ya?
Now, for those of you that don't know, Miley actually auditioned for the role of Hannah's best friend, Lily. Ultimately, she would be cast for the lead role of Hannah Montana, as many of you guys know by now, but at the time, she was also being considered for the lead role to co-star with a young Taylor Lautner in the 2000 film The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl. What a good movie that was too. It was between her and someone else, but she was already committed to Hannah Montana, so she turned the film down. Safe to say, that was the right call. Due to her being cast, the family did have to move to LA, but I mean, if you can't live the best of both worlds, are you really living at all? Now, as many of you guys know, Miley would see a ton of success working on the show from 2006 until 2011. She would release her first album titled Hannah Montana in 2006 that would turn out to be a massive success, topping the Billboard 200 charts in the US and selling over 3 million copies worldwide. This would just be the start of the young singer's musical career. Miley cites Elvis as her main musical inspiration, but also cites Madonna, Shania Twain, and of course her godmother Dolly Parton as some of her influences as well.
Who her biggest inspiration is musically?
Who is it?
My biggest inspiration is Elvis Presley, the king, and fashion icon.
Miley would go on to sign a 4-album deal with Hollywood Records to distribute her non-Hannah Montana music. In June 2007, Miley would release a 2-disc album titled Hannah Montana 2: Meet Miley Cyrus. The follow-up to her wildly successful debut album would also reach the top of the Billboard 200 charts and sell 3 million copies. However, this double-disc album would also include Miley's first studio album. Miley would continue to ride the success of the Hannah Montana wave, going on world tours and releasing a handful of her own studio albums. She'd also star in the Hannah Montana movie, but would eventually want to break out of her Disney mold.
No, I don't believe
Pop it, lock it, polka dot it, cut it. Do it.
In 2010, Cyrus would star in The Last Song, a film based on the book by Nicholas Sparks. Although it didn't receive the best reviews with a 20% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, it would lead to Miley meeting her now husband Liam Hemsworth. In the same year, Miley would release another studio album, Can't Be Tamed, in hopes it would help her transition from young Disney star to a young teenage girl. It would be her first album not to chart on the Billboard 200s in the US and wasn't very successful compared to her other albums. Cyrus would then stir up controversy when the Hannah Montana star was filmed smoking salvia out of a bong. Cyrus was 18 at the time, but the video really had a lot of people questioning which direction her career would go in due to the fact that she was previously known as an innocent little girl. However, like most Disney stars, Cyrus would break the little innocent girl title and bounce back stronger than ever. Although she had more of a focus on film at the time, Cyrus would come out strong in 2013, hiring Larry Rudolph, who's best known for representing Britney Spears, as her manager and shocking the world with a blonde pixie cut. The new Miley was born. After Miley would part ways with Hollywood Records, she would sign a new contract with RCA Records to distribute her music moving forward. Working with big names like Pharrell and Mike Will made it on her 4th studio album, Miley would show the world her hip-hop side. Being featured on the song 23 with the likes of Wiz Khalifa and Juicy J, and then dropping her single We Can't Stop as part of her album Bangers, Miley was back on top.
I told my manager, like, yo, I need to get this to Miley Cyrus because I feel like this is like the new party in USA. So as soon as I shake the flu, you know what I'm saying, I need to be in the studio with Miley Cyrus. And that's actually when I came up here the first time.
Miley's hit We Can't Stop would go on to break a Vivo record at the time, becoming the fastest video to reach 100 million views. The video would also get 10.7 million views in its first 24 hours. Miley would follow up her hit with another controversial performance, this time at the VMAs with Robin Thicke. Who could forget that performance? The song would also become Miley's first single to reach the top of the Hot 100 chart in the US with 2 million copies sold. It would also inspire a ton of parodies and even this. Would drop her album Bangers on October 4th, 2013. It would debut at number 1 on the Billboard 200 charts, selling over 250,000 copies within its first week. Her success came just a month after her and Liam would break off their engagement, which would last from May 2012 to September of 2013. She'd go on her 4th tour to promote the album, which is when she'd also decided to become a vegan. After touring for 2 months, Miley's dog, Floyd, was found mauled to death by a coyote at her home. Following the devastating and traumatic incident, Miley decided she would be finished consuming animal products. Around this time, Miley would also create the Happy Hippie Foundation, which works to, I quote, fight injustice facing homeless youth, LGBTQ youth, and other vulnerable populations. She's been an advocate for the community since coming out as pansexual to her mother at age 14.
People spend so much time judging others and judging ourselves. Most of the time we can't accept others because we don't always accept ourselves.
In 2016, Miley would be a key advisor for the contestants on the show The Voice before taking over for Gwen Stefani in the 11th season of the wildly popular reality show. Cyrus would continue to flourish musically, releasing a free album for her fans on SoundCloud titled Miley Cyrus and Her Dead Pets, along with her 6th studio album Younger Now. Miley and Liam Hemsworth would go on to get married after almost a decade of seeing each other on and off and 2 engagements. Miley's stint on The Voice would only last a couple seasons, and she is currently hyping up her next album, She Is Miley Cyrus. Miley claims the album will be made up of 3 separate 6-song EPs that will be released over time before the album officially drops. She Is Coming was dropped on May 31st with the hit single Mother's Daughter debuting on the US Billboard Hot 100 chart at 54. The EP itself debuted at number 5 on the Billboard 200s. She Is Here, the second installation to the album, is expected to drop sometime this summer, and She Is Everything is expecting to drop in the fall. But Miley is quite a busy girl. When she's not dropping new music, she's acting, as she did in an episode of Black Mirror, which premiered on Netflix on June 5th, 2019. As for the rest of the story, well, we gotta wait and see because, as I mentioned previously, I think Miley's best years are yet to come. The girl is quite the talent and can literally turn anything into gold. Just incredible. Anyways guys, I'm wrapping up this video here. We gotta answer our trivia question, which I did answer previously if you guys were watching the whole video. The song that inspired Miley to get into acting was in fact Mamma Mia. Now my name is Jared Bronstein. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, be sure to do that right now. Check out some of our other videos and let us know in the comments down below if you guys want to see a rich life on Miley Cyrus next. You can find me on social media at Bron7 and I'll see you guys in another video.